A real person.
WSIC News Talk Now.
So happy Tuesday and welcome to the Hometown Hour. Happy Halloween. A very dreary day out there, I would say, for the Halloween festivities.
Very fitting for Halloween.
Very, very fitting, very Edgar Allan Poe. Well, with me today, I have two wonderful and very smart people who know all the IT things, and compared to me, that is everything. I have Chris Lee with the town of Mooresville and Matt Taylor with the town of Cornelius. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hello.
Thank you.
Well, for our longtime listeners, you know we like to start out the show by talking about one good thing that's happened within the past week. So I'll kick it off in true festive fashion. My one good thing is in relation to Halloween. And it's actually kind of a backwards one good thing because this is a mom fail. So if you're not in the area, you will not know that right now we are experiencing very chilly, very dreary, very cold temperatures. And so I had a conversation with my 9-year-old yesterday about how, you know, if it's at 30 degrees and raining at trick-or-treat time, we're going to have to take a pass. We're going to have to not go this year because Mama doesn't want you to get pneumonia and have to take time off school and Mama take time off work. And I softened this with, you know, I'll buy you whatever candy you want. Like, we can go to the store and load up. It's going to be great. But apparently this crushed her soul a little bit. But Dad stepped in and dried the tears and told her, regardless of the temperature and the rain situation, they were going to go trick-or-treating. So kudos to Dad. Boo on Mom.
Yay, dads.
I know. Yay, dads. So, Chris, I know you've got some little ones. Are they ready for trick-or-treating?
They are. They're all dressed up, ready to go. I've got one that's going to be a Squirtle from Pokemon, and the other is going to be the Chick-fil-A cow.
Did you say a squirrel from Pokemon?
Squirtle.
Oh,
Squirtle
okay.
from Pokemon, yes.
Okay.
Pokemon is still a thing. It's still happening.
Very cool. Very cool. And very excited. I can already tell.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually Ash Ketchum
Okay.
as a part of that. So, yeah, we're pretty excited about that.
Very cool. I hope they get lots of candy. Matt?
No kids here, but we are decorating a little bit. Our house is very festive for the holidays, and we have a very scary pumpkin that if you're unfortunate enough to get candy from our house, it's going to really get you.
So do you have a lot of trick-or-treaters, or is it?
Not normally. Our house is in the very end of the cul-de-sac, and we do have a little bit more of a higher age relative neighborhood. So we get a couple of their grandchildren that come around, but not a lot.
See, we're in one of the newer neighborhoods that has a lot of the kids and everybody, so it is quite a lot of people that go around. And there's actually houses that have adult items as well. So it's very nice.
I live in one of those neighborhoods as well. That's always a good time.
Oh, yeah.
Well, guys, you are here today to talk about IT, information technology, or innovation in technology, however you want to think about it. So let's talk a little bit about your background. How did you get into that? How does one become an IT professional?
So for me, I was very, very early on, just always around technology and building computers. I think I built my first computer in middle school and was always helping my grandpa and others. And I would say my grandpa really first got me into it. He had one of the just early computers that we kind of coded and built games on. So
Like
that's
the punch card ones? Or
I'm not quite that old, but yeah, I'm aware of.
For
of
anyone
some
who's
of
not
those.
watching on Facebook, Chris Lee is not that old.
It did have a screen and a keyboard, and it looked like a computer, not necessarily a giant monstrosity.
The big floppy disk?
It did
Am I
have
closer?
some of the bigger,
Okay,
the
good.
5 1/4. So yeah, that's really what got me into it. So I'd say my grandpa was really my driving factor.
Awesome.
Pretty similar for me. My dad is the one who initially introduced me to that. He was always kind of into the smaller tech world, and I mean, I was '90s kid, so I still remember the normal rotary phones for that. But
Oregon Trail.
Exactly.
Yes, we all got hysteria.
We all did.
But my big thing came actually in college. I dabbled with computers, but originally went for medical office administration and was bored out of my mind with it. It was fun for the most part. I say it's kind of contradictory, but it really came with a friend of mine got into doing some programming, and once actually seeing that, I was like, all right, I've already got a little bit of affinity for this. Let's just go hardcore into it. So that's what started the path.
So how did you get to where you are today? Because, Matt, I don't know a whole lot of your history, but Chris, I know you have kind of been all over the place,
Yep.
all over the state, working in different capacities. So, what led to being the director of innovation technology for Town of Mooresville?
Yeah, so just getting into schooling and before that, job wise, I worked at Circuit City. Yep.
This is
Circuit
throwback.
City, throwing it back. So that, I worked in the computer department, eventually led the computer department in both Hickory and Raleigh area. So that kind of started my tech career. From there, just kind of branched into what I was doing at school at NC State. So I graduated with electrical engineering and then kind of carried into the General Assembly for there. So I was with the General Assembly through different roles for about 14 years before I went to Cornelius, where Matt has taken over now for a few years.
Are you sure you don't remember the punch cards?
No, but I have been. It's been 18 years now in government, so it's been a while. And prior to that, 5 or so years at Circuit City. So
You've had a significant career thus far.
it has been.
So you said Matt is taking over for you at Town of Cornelius, because
Yep.
I know you were there previously before you joined Town of Mooresville. Matt, tell us a little bit about how you got in that role.
So it's honestly, it's been only my second job. Originally, I worked at Subway. So after graduating from college, I ended up getting a job through a temp company at Cornelius, starting in for the previous director, Larry Davis, who's now the director in Huntersville. They hired me in there as a temp for about 3 years, transitioned further and further as I went into the role, essentially learned pretty much everything about the environment. And then it was more of the natural step whenever Chris left for me to take over, because, he had already been sharing a lot of the things he was doing with me at that point. Honestly, I think it was kind of his end goal anyway. So he knew
Staff
what he was going to do.
development.
Yeah, succession planning is what I like to call it.
Yeah, very good. Well, IT can look very different from Circuit City
Yep.
to working with the General Assembly, to working with a local government, to any type of IT in the private sector. So let's talk a little bit about IT for government. How does that look? What does IT impact?
Yeah, so I think one of the funniest things in general is that what does IT mean? Well, at this point, at times I've been told that IT is pretty much anything that has electricity flowing through it. So
that's fair.
if your coffee maker breaks, that's IT. I have to fix it. So that's the kind of calls we would get at home, which just kind of bridge into what you do for government. So it's literally any department, any function of a town or city, IT is on the back end supporting every bit of that.
Do you still get calls about broken coffee makers?
Yes, all the time.
That's fascinating.
You can get calls ranging literally from, oh, my monitor's not working and it's just unplugged under their desk, to having a multifaceted issue with your camera system going down and trying to figure out why it can't connect through and process its data. It'll go through tons of different areas for that. So it's a huge spectrum that it can go to. Your day-to-day is pretty straightforward, but you'll have those times where you run into a massive issue that ends up happening, usually from a bug.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I know that Mooresville and Cornelius are similar, but yet different sized towns and have different sized needs. And so in our next segment, I want to talk a little bit more about that and talk about how IT serves our residents and visitors.
Sounds good.
Stay tuned, everybody.
There's more of the Hometown Hour with Megan Suber, Communications and Marketing Director for the Town of Mooresville, on the way from WSIC.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Thanks to everyone who came out to the WSIC yard sale in Statesville. It was so much fun to celebrate with the world-famous Pat Shannon and the entire community. Love bluegrass music? Chatham County Line is coming to Kane Center for the Arts Friday night. Buy your tickets before they sell out. kanearts.org. Chatham County Line, this Friday night. Doors open at 7 p.m. and the show starts at 8. kanearts.org. The 20th Annual Pumpkin Fest is this weekend in downtown Statesville. Starting at 10 a.m., come out to downtown Statesville for Pumpkin Fest, a full day of fun for the entire family. Pumpkin Fest, downtown Statesville, Saturday from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. For more info, visit downtownstatesville.com. Santa is coming to town. Schedule your time to take pictures with Santa at Birkdale Village. Spots are limited and must be scheduled in advance. Santa will be at Birkdale between November 19th and Christmas Eve. Appointments include time with Santa and 8 digital images from a professional photographer. For more info and to schedule your time with Santa, visit birkdalevillage.com. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
The Renaissance Festival is back Saturdays and Sundays now through November 19th. Time travel to a land of legends. Jousting knights, mermaids, fairies, dragons. Oh my! Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com while supplies last. Don't miss it. Don't miss the Renaissance Festival. Sponsored by Visit Lake Norman. Visit Lake Norman, the lakeside of Charlotte. Huzzah!
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. 40% chance of rain this afternoon, mainly between 2 and 4 p.m. Otherwise cloudy with a high only getting up near 51 and wind gusts as high as 18 miles per hour. Heading through the evening, mostly cloudy skies gradually becoming clear overnight with your low dipping down to 30.